Hello, my crafty peeps. Welcome to What the Craft. If you don't already know me, I'm Marie, an American expat living in Portugal. I'm addicted to crafting, and these are my weekly updates. This week, I'm alive. I had my operation on Monday. I even went home early one day. I probably should have stayed the 2 nights, but the hospital food was just awful. I am recovering pretty well. For the most part, the operation went fine. While I was in the hospital, I finished knitting this hat that I started in Ireland. It just needs tuck in the ends and add the and I used the pattern that came with the ball of yarn. I had the foresight to cut out a couple of sewing patterns before the operation, and I was able to sew yesterday. There's not a lot of moving, So I finished this bolero top. I had twirled it back in October. I didn't use the high neckline. I'm hoping it'll go down a little once I wash it. I used this great technique for the first time, which is a hidden bias binding, which will come in handy when I do Rob's hoodie. Adding a quick note here. The fabric that I used was left over from the arbor skirt that I made last year. It is a finished fabric made by Poppy Designs, and I had to do some serious fabric Tetris to cut this piece out. However, I had just barely enough. I don't have too much to report, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to give you my opinions on this mini iron. It's a Gritzner. These opinions are all mine. It's not endorsed. I've had this for a few months now and hadn't really had a chance to use it until I started the tessellated bag, which I haven't finished yet. I'm going to make it a pillow since a lot of you told me that was your vote. Originally, it's supposed to be a bag, but I didn't want to make it into a bag. As for iron, I would say it's, I never really thought I needed one before, but for quilting projects, I think it's great. It's heavy enough where, it's ironing great. It's great for quilting and small seams. As you can see from this heart, there's a lot of seams in there. I would say it's great for hemming sleeves and pant legs, but something like longer hems, like a dress hem or even a side seam for pants, this would drive me crazy. My other issue that I had was it kept falling over. I did actually drop it on the floor once, actually maybe twice. Luckily, it still works. So I did have to invest in a ironing pad just so that it flat on my ironing board and that wouldn't keep knocking it over. Friend of mine in my craft group gave me a whole stack of Berta magazines. This is only like a quarter of the stack. So I've been reading those. And what else? The other project that I'm working on, which I cut out before the operation, is the Sonota set. I had to use two different fabrics because the fabric I had in my stash wasn't quite enough to make the shorts. So I'm going to make the dress in an embroidery anglaise, and then I'm going to make the shorts in a little gingham. Should be cute. Might be a little too cutesy for me, but I wanted to do the pattern because it's got heart-shaped pockets, and I've been really obsessed with the idea of heart-shaped pockets. So I thought this would be a good pattern to test out to see if my phone stays in the heart-shaped pocket. I signed up to be a preview sewer for that. So the pattern was actually free for me, and I just have to finish sewing it by the 20th of February and take pictures. That pattern actually cost me 20 euros to print. So the pattern was free, but it cost me 20 euros to print because it was on 4 pages of A0. That got me down the whole rabbit hole of why aren't I doing projector sewing pattern, the whole thing. So while I've been recovering the last few days, I've been researching projector sewing. And this morning I purchased a projector and I should be getting it this week. My other excuse is that I've been spending most of my days in bed and it would be nice to be able to watch Netflix projected on the wall because it basically hurts to move and breathe. I am supposed to be walking and that's been fine as long as I'm walking in a straight line. Twisting, turning, not so fun. Anyhow, so I am going to start that adventure. Wish me luck. If you have any tips and tricks on your thoughts or whatever on projector sewing, let me know. And for those who don't know what that means, it's just you project your sewing pattern onto the fabric and then you can cut the fabric without having to use paper. I probably will project the pattern onto paper and trace the pattern from there because I do a lot of pattern adjustments and I like to keep record of my pattern adjustments for the next time I do the pattern. So we'll see, but it'll still save me lots of paper. The projector I bought was less than 80 euros, and I have at least 4 patterns that I would like to do in the next month or so. Probably more reasonably 2 months, but thanks to everyone who sent their well wishes. I am 1.2 kilos lighter. Yay. It's the small things in life. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great week. And in the meantime, craft on.